Hi guys, I'm Ed Leake, Managing Director of Midas Media. We're a UK-based digital marketing agency. Here to talk about Google deleting the right side ads on their search result pages. Yeah, that's me. Should have been smiling in the photo, never mind. So, what's happened? Don't panic. Right rail, as it's known, the adverts on the right-hand side have been removed as of mid-Feb of this year. So Google's standpoint on this was they actually came from a position of improving usability for their customers, i.e. you and I and everyone else who uses search engines such as theirs. So their position of usability doesn't really wash with me entirely. Yes, it's now replicating and mimicking a mobile search result. However, let's face it, AdWords is Google's biggest single point of revenue. So anything they do in this space and any changes they make to AdWords is for one key reason, and that's their revenue, their bottom line, and of course, their advertisers sort of come in at a second pace because they know for a fact that whilst people are using search engines and searching, they will have an ad platform and people will spend money to advertise, particularly the big boys. So, as I've just said, no text ads on the right hand side anymore. Google will now serve 4 ads at the top, as you can see an example there. So there used to be 3 ads at the top, a rail to the right of 5 ads, but now we've got 4 at the top in place of 3 and 3 at the bottom. So we've gone from 11 ads top, right and bottom in total to now a maximum of 7, which is a considerable reduction, of course. The right-hand side still allows and still will display product listing ads, essentially Google Shopping, and some select knowledge panel ads, which are those information type panels on the right-hand side you may see when you search for your favourite film star, album, etc. Okay, why do you think Google have done that now, Ed? PPC is mega hot space. PPC is competitive, it's where the money's at. Google, Bing, lots of other people, they understand that people want to spend on paid search because search intent is one of the strongest drivers for sales, particularly in e-commerce. So Google's also facing fierce competition from many rivals, and as I said, AdWords is their single biggest revenue stream, so they're out to protect it. Let's not mince words. So another positive for Google is, of course, less competition of their own ads, i.e. the top versus the right. So the usability issue, less choice, less confusion, just keeping the ads top, bottom. By increasing the ad space at the top by a third, having 4 instead of 3 ads, they push organic results down. That increases click-through rate for paid ads, and therefore more clicks equals more spend equals more revenue to Google. Brilliant. I think a couple key reasons why they've done this. So Microsoft. You might be wondering why Microsoft's in that list, thinking, well, Bing's a bit sort of an also-ran. Think about Windows 10. Clever move. So Microsoft have been pushing and still are pushing Windows 10 free of charge as a free upgrade. What happens with Windows 10? Default browser, Internet Explorer. Default search engine for Internet Explorer, Bing. What does that do to Google? Reduces its share of the market. So, very clever from Microsoft. Wise move. It's essentially bringing them further into play. Okay, a few percentage points here and there may not seem massive, but in this market we're talking billions in revenue. And of course, Facebook, a thorn in the side of, well, let's face it, many companies, but particularly Google, because Facebook is behavioural based, clever algorithmic based advertising, but it's super potent, hugely detailed and targetable. But more importantly than anything, there's over 1 billion people on Facebook. Massive audience, massive power in terms of advertising, and I'm pretty confident that they're pissing Google off. And then there's the also sort of tertiary market, as you could call it. It's sort of the content and ad delivery networks, such as you may have seen them, Outbrain and Taboola and so on and so forth. So they cut into Google's display network. Again, bit of a pain for Google. And yeah, not ideal. So looking on the bright side, people say bad news first, but let's go for the good news, and then we'll tackle the bad news. So, good news. Google's revenue is going to increase off the back of this. Good news for who? Not you and I. Never mind. PLAs and shopping ads, they're going to get fresh. They're going to get revitalized by this. There's less competition on the right-hand side now. So, essentially, Google have made the ads, shopping ads, I beg your pardon, more productive, more effective, because they're not. There's less decisions to be made at the top there. So top spots, of course, pushing down organic, removing the right-hand side. You're going to see one thing at the top, and that's ads. So there's going to be a high click-through rate, which is a win. You know, if you're an advertiser in the top 1, 2, 3, maybe 4th position, you're going to get more clicks now. And sorry, SEOers out there and organic search in general, you're getting pushed further and further off the page. It's inevitable. It was always coming. It's only going to get worse. Okay, so now the bad news. And a lot of people in the industry would disagree with what I'm about to say, but I believe there's going to be more pressure on bids for the single reason that as people slowly react to these changes, bids will go up. So if you strip out over half the advertising positions on the right-hand side and you replace it with one, then you've got the same number of people trying to compete for less space. Yes, you could argue that the right-hand side got a lot less clicks than the top 3 spots, so it's sort of like a 90 versus 10% rule in that top spots got 90% of the clicks and right-hand side got 10%, maybe 15, 20 at a push. So actually by Google adding an extra third to the top, then you know it sort of balances it out. But I just can't see it. I think over time we're going to see pressure. It may be 5-10% in bids, but at the end of the day, if you're using AdWords on a low margin product, you may feel the pinch. And I think particularly smaller advertisers who can't raise their 4th position the traditional 4th positions down the right-hand side and beyond, if they can't raise now into the new top, they're just going to get pushed out. Their budget's going to fail them. So you can combat this, of course. You can be more selective in what you advertise and just go for your high margin or your top sellers, or if you're a service business, just literally focus on the keywords that have brought conversions and forget everything else. But that's not really, not going to be ideal for everyone. The other losers, and no disrespect, but they're always losers, people who just don't manage and optimize their accounts. Pay-per-click is not cheap. If you don't optimize, you are literally throwing away hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of pounds. It's, stupid. And this is an interesting one. But people who, or should I say businesses who rely heavily or only on AdWords. And why do I say that's bad news for them? Well, this is from a business strategy position. Google is in charge. They've got the rules. Any ad platform that you use, they write the rule book. So if you're only using one strategy, one channel for marketing, you are at their whim. If they change anything, it changes your business model overnight. So we need to look at tackling that. If you're one of these people that's got maybe 1, 2 at a push marketing channels, then I'm going to be producing a few videos to show you how to tackle that and fix that, because that's a dodgy position. It's a bit shit. I would be worried, so don't do it. Let's fix it. Anyway, subscribe, blah, we'll sort that out. So, how do we fix this? How do we combat this situation? It's pretty straightforward to say, but it's probably more complex to apply. However, ad preview and diagnosis. So, you're probably thinking, Ed, how does that fix my situation? What I mean by this is, you need to be looking and trawling through your ads and making sure that your ads are in the top 3-4 spots. I mean, I personally would try and bid 3 upwards, not 4. I think 4 is going to be the new sort of dead zone, and you're too close to dropping off to the bottom. And quite frankly, whoever clicks on the bottom 2 or 3 ads, no hands going up. So, yeah, looking at your ads now, seeing where they serve, and you need to make sure that all the ad extensions you can use are now being used. So things like site links, call-outs, review extensions, so on and so forth. They essentially extend the shape and form and size of your ad. And if your competitors aren't doing it, they will do eventually. They make your ad bigger, essentially. So you need to be doing that. You need to be previewing your ads, making sure you're up there and you're appearing and looking good, strong, got all your ad extensions running, brill, attract those clicks. That will mean that you don't just have to pay more, because one tactic we collectively as advertisers don't want to see is everyone paying more money. That only helps one entity, and that is Google. It doesn't help us all if we're all just bidding up to the nines just to get to the top. So instead of bidding up, improve the one overarching factor that reduces your bids, and that's your quality score. Essentially, relevance of the advert to the search term, triggering the ad, and to the landing page thereafter. So I'm going to do a video on essentially hacking quality score. Yeah, it's a bit of a sort of trendy word, hacking, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, I'm going to do a video after this about how to get the most out of quality score and essentially how to drive down your cost per click, and essentially get rid of all the crap in your account. So finally, we've got consider other networks. As I said on the previous slide, if you're relying on Google alone, or should I say Google search, then you need to test some budget elsewhere. And the tactic I use with our clients is essentially you slice off a little bit of budget. So if you're spending $5,000 a month, 10, 20, 100, million, whatever it may be, just take a sliver, 1 to 5%, or maybe more. Obviously, it boils down to your current return on investment from Google Ads and margins, etc. How much can you afford to test elsewhere? So I'd say as a minimum, you want to be testing a percent or 2, and just use it for exploration. And don't think it's going to be an immediate win, but you're going out here to test on other platforms to make sure that you can actually do business, and your business scales across other platforms that aren't just AdWords, because the next time they change the rules, it could really screw you. So there are loads of platforms out there. Facebook, massive, obvious choice. Facebook now integrates their ad platform with Instagram. And to be honest, the behavioural information and demographic information Facebook has on us all is quite stunning from an advertiser's perspective. You can get so granular and place your ads so precisely that Facebook's really potent if you do it well. I might do a few videos on that. Pinterest, again, it depends on the context of your business, but an interior design company or a lot of retailers can do well on Pinterest. Twitter, I'd say, arguably is better for B2B in terms of lead gen campaigns, because they have essentially lead capture card ads. It's not, I wouldn't say, as cost effective as Facebook. The audience is 20% of the size. The targeting's not as rich and as useful, but it's still worth a punt. I haven't actually put LinkedIn on here, which I've just realised. The reason being, B2C LinkedIn, not easy. B2B LinkedIn, decent, but my God, LinkedIn, expensive. Christ, what? The cost per clicks is astronomical when we've done some tests. So we actually get better results in terms of return on investment from Facebook and other platforms. Yes, LinkedIn converts quite well, but in terms of overall cost, it's kind of a red herring. So you see these decent conversion numbers, but then when you realise what you've paid for them, I don't know. I'm on the fence with LinkedIn, and I hate to be on the fence with anything. I like to be taking an opinion, a position. We need to do more on it. Anyway, I'm rabbiting on. There's loads and loads out there. Display networks, including Google's display network, of course, because it is a separate beast to search. So use it as a separate thing, treat it as a separate thing. Bing, Yahoo, as I said previously, Windows 10, the adoption is going relatively well. More people are using Bing than ever. Brilliant. So that only helps us advertisers because Bing's more cost effective. Okay, the search market for them is 10-15% of what Google has, but it's still it's a decent chunk. But there are people making a living off Bing, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't use it just on its own. If it was a toss up between AdWords and Bing, I know which one I'd go for, and it's the G variety. So there's ad exchanges as well, which I touched on earlier, and content exchanges. Outbrain's probably the most well-known and cost-effective. Taboola's a bit more expensive, but they have better targeting. Anyway, I'm not going to go into too much detail because that's a whole new ball game. Another type of display that doesn't use a network per se is direct ad placement on your target market website. So thinking about where your customers hang out online, what they read, what they look at, what are they interested in? Can you get an ad on that website, be it through Google Display, another display network, or directly to the website itself? And then the list goes on and on for pay-per-click and paid ads. What I'm going to do is, as I said, I'm going to do a video very soon on how we tackle the right-hand side issue, which will sort of focus on quality score mainly, because that's the quickest win, drive down your costs. So keep an eye out for that. Please subscribe. This is a brand new channel, my first video, so you're probably looking at it going, but I hope I've said a few useful things, and I'm sure I can only become more useful with time as I improve, because this is my first video. Anyway, please put a few comments in there, ask any questions. I am going to be actively answering them. Tweet me @edleak. I'm super active on Twitter. Just reach out to me. I'd appreciate it, even just to say, Ed, your video is shit, I didn't like it. That's fine. Constructive criticism, always welcome. And also, you can hit me up on... did I just say hit me up? Oh, dear. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and discuss your problems, questions. What do you want me to talk about? I'm going to be doing stuff on, as I said, hacking quality score, using the lingo, and remarketing, behavioral remarketing, advanced remarketing tactics for e-commerce, business owners, and lots of other juicy things. So until then, if you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate if you shared it. Thank you very much. And until the next time, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Cheers.